Let's talk about the participation segment of your grade. This is probably the most complicated portion of your grade and one where the students get confused at the very beginning. By the end of the course, everybody's gotten it and it's not such a big deal, but it can cause confusion at the beginning. So I want to walk you through this. And again, feel free to play this segment several times to make sure you get it right. And as you will see, you can always call me, email me, and within the discussion board itself, there are ways that you can leave messages for me that everybody can see, and maybe we can answer similar questions all at once. So participation is accomplished via the discussion board and includes answering my questions every week. There will be discussion questions. You have to respond to those. And you have to post something called an ER, which is experience or research statement. It's really a 2-page paper. And commenting in a meaningful way on a total of 2 classmates' postings, which is their answers to my questions, or their ER. And then don't forget, you have to post onto the bulletin board or discussion board on 2 separate days each week. All right, that's a lot. Let's break it out into sections. I put the bolded ands and capitals to break it up into areas to help you get your thoughts wrapped around it. All right, so first part, answering my questions. My questions will appear Monday, 12:05 a.m. and you'll find them in that week's learning module. You must respond to my questions by 11:59 p.m. of each Wednesday of the class week. So if today were Monday and it's 12:10 a.m., you would have until Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. to answer the questions that I put on that particular week's learning module discussion board. Okay, now note, you will not see any classmate answers until you post your own. This will prevent those who might be tempted of just parroting somebody else's answer and calling it good. I want to know what you're thinking. When you leave here and go work for somebody, you can't be copying what other people do. So we want to try and train you to do your own critical thinking. Second is posting an ER. ER is actually a suggestion from a student from probably 3 or 4 years ago. It saves the boring part of everybody looking in the end of the chapter, answering the question 2, and it's probably very boring for you to write, and in all honesty, it's very boring for me to read, particularly when we have a full class of 30 plus students. So what an ER is, it's a 2-page statement. It's either based on your personal experience or some research you've done on the topic that we're discussing that week, beyond what was presented in the discussion board or text. So you're going to have to go out and do some research on this. So let's say if the topic for the week is leadership, go on out to the website, to the web, find a reputable article, not a 1-paragraph little ditty on internet somewhere. Find an article or recall a personal experience, summarize it, and then add a discussion indicating how it applies to the class. So tell me what's going on in the article or your personal experience and relate it to class, and do that in 2 pages. So this has got to be a little meaty thought process here to find a good subject, to give it some thought, and then to also relate it to the text and beyond, relate it to the class. I'd like you to cite the article. You can do that by just attaching a link. That would be perfectly fine. When you're summarizing the article, please don't cut and paste from the article and call it your own work. A lot of times I read these articles because frankly I find them interesting, and when I've noticed you've cut and pasted, that just says, well, you were too tied up, let's say, politely, to write your own thoughts, and I don't like that. Short quotes are okay though, but mark them as such so I know that you're quoting. Also, if you're using personal experiences, try not to repeat the same personal experience week after week. After a while, they all start to sound the same, and you're not really learning anything or demonstrating to me that you're learning anything from the text. I do have some instructions and examples in Learning Module 1, so you can learn how to post them. Your ER is due by the end of Sunday, 11:59 p.m. of each class week. So once again, your ER is due by the end of Sunday, 11:59 p.m. of each class week. Let's go to the third and, commenting in a meaningful way. Meaningful way does not mean yes, I agree, or no, that's wrong. It means adding or contributing something to the conversation. Give me a different opinion. Give me a different perspective. Give me the benefit of your experience. You can agree with another student's answer and maybe support it with additional points that they didn't include. It can also be a logical argument against what was posted, but supported by facts and text or research that you have done. Just saying, in my opinion, I don't think that's right. Well, I respect your opinions, but I'd like you to back it up with material from the text and things that you've learned. Now, excuse me, let's come back to posting onto the discussion boards on 2 separate days. So you already know that I'm going to post discussion week questions every Monday by 12:05 a.m. You have until Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. to answer those questions. That does not count as participation in the class in terms of discussion week. So you must log in and post on the discussion board on 2 separate days each week to be considered present. Taking the quizzes on Blackboard doesn't count either, nor does answering my questions. So ideally, you would be accessing the Blackboard site twice between Wednesday and Sunday of each week. Why do I do that? Well, I found before I did that, people would wait until the end of Sunday to do the posting and commenting, and the quality of the responses was very low, as you might imagine. And so what I'm trying to do is force some early posts, Thursday, Friday or so that people have time to read them, think about them, and respond to them. I know there'll be instances where you don't get to them until late Sunday night. I understand that, but I would prefer that you try and do them and space them out than do them all at once. Please set up a tickler on your screen or wherever to help you remember to do that. So when I grade your participation each week, I'm going to look for your ands. I'm going to look for your answers to the discussion questions. Did you answer all my discussion questions? And did you post an ER that week? And did you comment in a meaningful way on a total of 2 classmates' posts? And were you on 2 separate days other than when you answered my questions and took the quiz? That's how I will determine your participation grade. All right, here's an example. Let's say there are 3 discussion questions posted on the discussion board for the week. You must post your answers to those questions by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. That's 3 posts, 1 answer to each of my questions. Does not count towards participation. You must then post an ER and respond to 2 other classmates' answers or ERs. That's 3 posts. That's a total of 6 posts by 11:59 p.m. Sunday night. If there are only 2 discussion questions that I put out there, you need to only have a total of, that would be 5 posts. Sorry, I have a typo here, which is 2 answers, 1 ER, and 2 classmate response. All right. I hope that answers some questions. Again, feel free to reach out to me if there are any further clarifications that are required.